Hello and welcome to another video, and something that is a little bit different around here, which is me sat in an alcove in my office talking you through a bit of a life update. So today I'm going to break down what's been going on for the past 6 months, talk you through a little bit of what's going on at my end currently, the things that I'm focusing on, the things that I'm considering, the challenges I'm facing, and how that reflects the channel, the content you're going to be seeing, what I'm training for, and what things you can get involved in the future. Before I dive into today's video, if you're new around here, please do check out the back catalogue of regular content available on the channel, and if you are familiar around here, then this is going to be an important update. With that being said, don't forget to hit the like button, comment with your thoughts and feelings down below, and make sure to have hit subscribe. But why don't we kick things off? So a key starting point to consider for context of today's video is the double brutal extreme triathlon, which I took on in September on the 10th and 11th last year, 2022. And was one of the hardest things to train for and execute with the event itself that I have ever done. It was a 7.6k swim, a 373k bike, and an 84.4k run with 8,200 meters of elevation gain in total. And training for it was really challenging, to the point that it was almost unhealthy, if I'm honest. The training hours were about 26 to 30 hours a week, alongside running both businesses and trying to maintain some sort of life outside of training and work. And I was forced to change a lot of things with the businesses, change a lot of things with how I structure my day, learned some very valuable lessons along the way, but it was very, very challenging, which made getting to the finish line all the more rewarding. If you haven't seen that video, it'll be on the screen for you just here. Look for this thumbnail. Please do watch it, as I was very reflective throughout. It was a phenomenal process to have gone through. But as I've openly spoken about on this channel before, with big events will come a period of post-event blues, or a come-down effect of sorts. And I will hold my hands up and say that it has taken me 6 months to really fully recover from this. And those of you that follow me on here, follow me on Instagram, other social media, might be thinking, oh, well, Fergus, you've done stuff along the way, but my fire in the belly, my desire to get out of bed and really get to my training hasn't really been there for the past 6 months. I've been going through the motions and obviously training towards things and enjoying it, but that sort of intrinsic burning desire to get after these things has been missing. And that's a prolonged period of blues from this event in my mind. So with that being said, I think it's important to just preface everything else that will follow in this video by saying that as of about 3-4 weeks ago is the first full week of training where I've got through every session with a smile on my face without having to deprioritize it during the day, without forcing myself to do it last thing at night or an awkward time during the day, because it just hasn't intrinsically sat as high in the priority list for me as other things have. There's a lot of very exciting things happening with the businesses, with this channel, which I'll elaborate on a little bit more later on. But amidst the background of the double, I've been asking myself the questions of how am I going to top that? What do I do next? Is there anything that's even feasible for me to do that's going to top that? Well, have you peaked too soon, early on in your YouTube career, in this sort of niche that I've crafted for myself online? How do I get excited about training when I don't have goals to focus on? Is there any strength goals that I want to work in there that are as exciting as that? Not really. Do I want to get in the pool and swim for leisure's sake? No, not really. Have I been enjoying riding my bike through the winter? Not as much. And this has all come from essentially exposing myself to the demands of such an event. And I wouldn't say I was naive to the outputs at the back end, but I'm shocked at how much it has affected me for so long, because we are in May now. The event was in September last year, and only recently have I truly felt myself again when it comes to training focus, goals, and mainly just that underlying burning desire to get up and, for want of a better phrase, get after it. That's not to say that I haven't been enjoying making YouTube content and training for things along the way. I absolutely have, but I just want to really highlight that I haven't entirely felt myself throughout the past 6 months. And whilst I've been presenting somebody online that very much feels like myself, beneath that has been a little bit more self-doubt and questioning and wondering what the future looks like for me as an athlete along the way. So hopefully that prefaces the rest of today's conversation, but I just wanted to get that out there. So the next thing to consider is why I am not focusing on triathlon this year, and that's for several reasons. First and foremost, the double took a lot out of me, and it did leave a bit of a sour taste in my mouth for the enjoyment of triathlon. It's something I love, it's something I enjoy, and the past 3-4 weeks I've loved being back in the pool, I've loved being back in the open water, and I've loved being back out on the bike. Fair weather cyclist, you could argue, yes, very fair, but nonetheless I've been enjoying the social interaction, I've been enjoying the coffee and cake, I've been enjoying the cold of the sea, And I'm over the sort of, oh, where's my wetsuit? Where's this? Where's that? Oh, tire levers, I don't know where they are. All this stuff that's been going on for the past 6 months. And I'm enjoying it again. But I've really been wrestling with myself for the past 3, 4, 5 months as to why I'm not excited about getting up and getting to the pool first thing or getting the turbo sessions done. And I've just actually learned to listen to myself on that, because being a hybrid athlete, I can bounce from one thing to the next. I'll never completely turn down one dial to 0, where I just abandon all strength work or abandon all swimming or abandon all bike riding. But I'm in a privileged position whereby I'm not attached to one individual sport, and I've really been wrestling with the idea that I am a strong triathlete. I am a strength athlete and a triathlete for the past couple of months, namely because I have the opportunity to do some fantastic races this year that I feel a little bit ashamed of not taking the places on, to be quite honest. But I've had to sort of look out for number one here and just make the decision that for this year I'm going to focus on some other things, because I have had too big of a spike with triathlon training and commitment last year that I'm very confident I will come back from in the long term. But this year is not the year that I'm going to be focusing on triathlon. Alongside that, we've got a lot more strategic with this YouTube channel, and we've seen some fantastic results from that, which I hope you all appreciate. And I massively appreciate all of you being here. Any of you watching and listening to me at this point are probably much further down the line than anyone that's new to the channel, so I appreciate you hanging around, engaging, supporting all of these things. I really do. And that's almost where a lot of this frustration has come from, because I want to be the triathlete that you bought into last year, but I have been frustrated that the desire hasn't been there, when in reality all I need to do is recalibrate on what's important to me and put that focus elsewhere this year, because that's the right thing for me to do with the timing, alongside the businesses, alongside the opportunity with this channel, the collaborations I can do, the people I can meet, the trips that I can go on, the lower hanging fruit videos that I can create and enjoy making that will move everything forwards without taking so much from me as an individual, where I'm needed for the businesses, where I'm needed in the household, and where I'm needed from a social life point of view, from a family point of view. Because I'll admit, I was really bad last year. I went almost a full year without seeing any of my friends. Erin is very supportive of everything I do and integrated into all of it, but was I a fantastic partner? Probably not. Was I a little bit selfish in terms of my approach to things? Probably. Was I potentially neglectful of opportunities with the business by committing so much time to training? Definitely. Would I do anything differently? No, I would not. And I think that's the important thing to consider, is that I've learned from the journey and the process of last year. I'm taking that into things moving forwards. And the lesson for me in simple terms is that triathlon is not something I'm going to focus on in 2023. I'm still swimming, I'm still riding my bike, I'm still going to be doing some swimming and bike riding focused content, but I'm not going to be piecing it together for a big, hairy, scary triathlon this year, because my focus is going to be elsewhere, because that is what's going to give me the most. That's what's going to fit most with the broader plans around the ecosystem that we've created with Omnia, the Modern Mind, my personal brand, for want of a better phrase, and all of the opportunities that we're very fortunate to have in front of us. And I do just need to be considerate of my own mental health, my own outputs, my own ability, and what I can actually achieve within the context of a week, without just feeling like I'm constantly chasing my tail and punishing myself for not getting enough done, when in reality I'm doing absolutely everything that I can, day in, day out, within the realistic context of what can be done. So I want to get out of this headspace of feeling like I've never made any progress, when in reality I've made a lot of progress. And I think the first thing to do there from a personal psychological point of view is to just accept that I'm not failing as a triathlete in 2023. I am simply not a triathlete in 2023. So there's a broader narrative around identity attachment to athletic metrics, to certain sports there, that I'm not going to go into. But perhaps there's something there to consider at your end in terms of how you consider your hobbies, how you consider your focus points out with your day-to-day in terms of your overall identity, and how we might be better off recalibrating on them every once in a while. So the next thing to focus on is, what am I actually training for? What are my current goals and why? So in simple terms, I want to get a bit leaner. I'm going to focus on lifting heavy and running fast. So I'm going to be focusing on lifting and running this year because of the accessibility of both of them. Amidst the sort of come down period post double brutal, I have been drawn to the gym. I've been drawn to the 17-year-old version of myself wearing a stringer vest and dry scooping pre-workout. And I've been enjoying just sort of going in and moving some tin, chatting to people as I go, lifting some heavy weights and feeling like I've accomplished something in that period of time. That's where I've been drawn. That doesn't mean that I'm not enjoying swimming, biking, and running. No, it just means when I'm sort of getting to the end of a busy day and my brain's going, right, how do you want to decompress? It's taking me to the gym. And that's something I've been conscious of. No point in forcing myself to do things that I'm not enjoying when I'm very fortunate to have the privilege of being able to decide what I would like to do. So that's where I've been leaning, and I'm going to put a big focus on strength work for the rest of the year. But there's absolutely no world where I'm going to abandon my endurance training, and that's where running is going to take a front seat for the rest of the year. It's more accessible. It is less admin, there's less cleaning of chains, there's less kit required. I can be in different countries and do it without much hassle. It doesn't require as many fittings and adjustments and accesses to open bodies of water and things like that. Running and lifting is going to be the focus. And with that comes a bit of a focus on body composition. I'm not as lean as I would like to be from a running performance point of view. And there's probably a little bit of body weight at the moment that isn't serving any use from a strength point of view. So I'm doing a little bit of a body recomposition, focusing on my top end strength ahead of potentially even a strongman event in August, which I will update you on very soon. And then there are some in the same day challenges, running and lifting to come. But am I going to share with you what those events are on this YouTube video today? No, my friends, I am not. You'll just have to hit the subscribe button and hang around. So expect to see more heavy squats, more heavy deadlifts, probably not as much heavy bench pressing because bench is so 2012, but I'm looking to apply my strength to new demands like I did last year with the Dinnie Stones and essentially capitalize on a lot of the running foundational work that I've done over the years and get back to the running capacity that I had in 2020 when I was capable of a sub 5 minute mile and some fairly decent 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon times. Exactly what those goals are still a little bit up in the air, but let's just say the Black Book has some firmly fountain-penned ideas in it. So watch this space. Something that I actually don't dive too deep into on the channel is the business side of things and the trajectory of my career, this channel, the businesses, and all the things that I want to achieve in the future, which is kind of ever evolving. But from a long-term point of view, why don't I actually just give you what I view success as? And it's a big question. I've kind of caught myself off guard here as this wasn't in the notes in Notion that we use for each video. I'm kind of going off the cuff here, but in the spirit of being off-piste, I might as well jump right into the crevasse that's beneath me and define success as doing everything that I can now from a financial point of view to set myself up so that I can be as present a father in the future as I can be, whilst enjoying everything that I do along the way and being able to enjoy the opportunity to be a father in the hypothetical future. So a future family that does not yet exist is pivotal to my definition of success. I don't attach numbers to that. I don't attach white picket fenced houses to that or anything like that. I love the stress of what comes with it. I love the problem solving. I love figuring things out. I love trying new things. I love the entrepreneurial nature of it. And I'm spread across a variety of different industries and businesses, which means that there's a lot of things being juggled, a lot of plates being spun. And that's an opportunity I'm very fortunate to have. One that causes me a lot of stress, causes me some sleepless nights and a lot of demand, yes, but it all feels like it's moving towards that North Star focus point of doing everything I can now to set myself up to be the best possible father that I can be in the future, not just from a value point of view, but from a ability to be present whilst simultaneously being able to support this hypothetical future family. So for further context, I have three businesses, essentially. I have Omnia Performance, I have The Modern Mind, and I have myself, this channel and social media and everything that surrounds it. Yes, there's lots of crossover between them because social media marketing points people to the direction of Omnia, and Omnia points in the direction of The Modern Mind, and my social media kind of sits above those and everything feeds down. Yes, but structurally speaking, those are the three things that I need to consider, and they all have very different demands. Omnia Performance is performing really, really well, and we're absolutely thrilled at the trust people have given in us to manage their programming, whether from a one-to-one perspective, whether from a training plan or a training program point of view. We have had almost 3,000 people come through our doors, proverbially speaking, since we started just over 2 years ago. We currently have over 1,500 athletes active right now, which is mind-boggling to me and was reinforced when I was in Townsville in northern Queensland in February. And that is a small town of this many people. I didn't fact check myself beforehand. Not a big place. And I had 11 DMs on Instagram from people saying, oh, watch the channel. I'm an Omnia Performance athlete. I'm doing this training plan. I'd love to train in the gym with you. And I thought, this is absolutely insane that there are this many people that like to train like this all over the world that have somehow found this channel and Omnia. Being able to meet up with Omnia Performance athletes in Townsville in northern Queensland at a day's notice just left me with this overwhelming sense of there is something here. I want to go as hard as I can at it to really, really bring this group of people worldwide together to balance concurrent training goals for the sake of enjoyment, for the sake of community, for the sake of essentially proving people wrong. Because there's still lots of runners out there that say you can't lift and run. There's still lots of lifters out there that say you can't lift and run a 5K, it'll ruin your gains. There's all these things that I talk about on here a lot, and I'm just really excited to keep pushing Omnia forwards in all capacities, and that requires a lot of my attention. I am a director of the business. Johnny and I are the two main employees. We have responsibilities that are delegated between us that are pretty always on. And then we've got more and more people joining the business as we go. We've got a full-time hire out at the moment. My brother is joining the business in an events and soon to be coaching capacity as well. We've got some subcontracted coaches that look after some elements as well. And the opportunities are right in front of our face, but bandwidth and having the time and availability to move them forwards is what we're struggling with. So I want to make myself as available as possible for that business. I want to move things forward and capitalize on the opportunity that we have created and not look back in a few years and think, oh, you know what, we sat on that for a little bit long and that could have been something more than it was. That's a fear that I have. Whether that's irrational or not, I don't know, but that's how I feel. Secondly, The Modern Mind is a public speaking and corporate well-being focused agency, first and foremost, as well as the podcast. But we are focusing on providing speakers, seminars, workshops to corporates around the UK, seminars, webinars worldwide. And whether that's myself sort of leading the charge and then delegating to people more qualified and intelligent than I to follow up on, there are lots of ways that we can put packages together with corporates to make that happen. So I can often find myself in London 3, 4, 5 times a month talking to corporates down there, and then from a back office point of view, syncing up the network that we have with The Modern Mind for further webinars, seminars, workshops with the network that we have behind us to cover certain topics like menopause, like sports psychology, like performance from certain sporting perspectives, like high performance leadership or things like that. We can place those into relevant companies, and that is a business in and of itself, and one that is also growing and one that requires a lot of my attention. And I am really enjoying the process of building these two businesses. The problem solving and the buzz around meeting new people and getting contracts over the line and moving things forward is what gets me out of bed in the morning, more than trying to force myself to train for triathlon has done in relation to how I referred to things earlier. And that's not to say that I'm not enjoying training, I'm going to focus on business. No. But it's saying that I'm very conscious of what makes me tick, and this year I've been forcing myself down a road training wise that I don't feel I've been ticking with, whilst feeling like I've been ticking more with the business side of things. Now that I'm sort of 3-4 weeks back into saying lifting heavy and running fast is the focus, I very much feel like both pillars are in line, and I'm really enjoying the day-to-day again, and everything's more productive. I feel better, I feel sharper, I feel my training's more effective, I feel like I'm getting more done in the day, I feel like I'm moving things forward at a pace that's exciting, and all of that contributes to better quality content here, better quality execution athletically, better managed relationships from a business point of view, and from the personal brand that sits above all of this, more forward motion. And that gives lots of opportunity for exciting stuff to happen in the future. I would love to get to the point in the future where I can bring as many people along for experiences that involve strength and endurance and challenges and things like that as possible. There's no sort of goals that I'm going to share with you all now in terms of exactly what that looks like, but I'm excited by the opportunity of everything to come based on the growth that has come so far. And from a career point of view, from the direction I want to move things in, from a business point of view, there's a lot to go at, so I'm going to go at it. I'm going to be mindful of my training volume along the way, so that I don't force myself to ask the question of, did I do everything I can to move things forward at the pace in which I would like to do so? So I hope that makes sense. And you might be interpreting what I'm saying as I'm deprioritizing training to focus on business, but no, that's not the case. It's more a recalibration of how I prioritize my day-to-day to get the best out of all of these things going on in the ecosystem that I've created, so that I can be the best version of myself and feel like I'm giving my best to every element. Because there's lots of plates spinning, and the cynics amongst you might say, well, Hormozy says focus on one thing and sell that until that's done and don't focus on anything else. Yes, but I enjoy lots of different things. Lots of different things are scaling moving forward, which is exciting. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of stress. It means that often one YouTube video a week can be really quite demanding and stressful when schedules fall apart, but that is part of the fun, and I'm going to do a better job of vocalizing that with you all as the weeks unfold for the rest of the year, because I feel that that's an important part of this YouTube channel. One thing that's important to mention at this point is that there's been a bit of a reshuffle with long-term brand partners, and one thing I want to make clear from the off is that with long-term brand partners, the focus from my end is always on bigger picture thinking, community engagement, storytelling, and how can we really make the most out of this relationship. I generally speaking don't get that excited about here's a paycheck, post this sort of relationship, because it doesn't allow for that bigger picture thinking, value-driven narrative that can develop over a long time, because that's really important to me. I like to bring people along for the ride, for the journey that this is. And most notably, change recently has been that I walked away from Gymshark at the end of March. But excitingly, if you see my most recent video, you'll know that I've recently signed with MyProtein with a focus on their MyPro range, and I have tangible, palpable excitement for all of the things to come there, as we've got some real good, bigger picture thinking, community engagement, storytelling focus points coming very soon, so do please keep an eye out for those. But it's important to mention that long-term brand partners are key to operating the channel, key to the investment into the channel, key to the spend and the logistics that goes into events like the Double Brutal, the spend that goes behind events like the Goggins Challenge, and all of the day-to-day stuff. I'm eternally grateful to all of the relationships that I have with brands, past or present. I want to make that crystal clear that I am fully bought into them from an authentic point of view, and when I am sharing them with you guys, it's because I love and use the products. But I also just want to make clear that there has been a bit of a reshuffle recently, and that is just due to reasons around alignment and the long-term vision for the channel. So there'll be a few things you'll notice in recent videos and think, huh, that's a bit different, but that is all part of the process, and hopefully today's video has given you a bit more of an understanding as to why that might be the case. So that's been a bit of a sit-down ramble. I've had some points in front of me that I've kind of been focusing on, but the brief really here was sort of talk from the heart, as it were. And I'm already sitting here a little bit frustrated that, oh, I should have said that differently, I should have caveated that with this, should have said X, Y, and Z. Hopefully that isn't misinterpreted. Oh, I hope I don't need to answer that in the comments. All of this sort of cumulative self-doubt and questioning that's gone on for the past 6, 7, 8 months. I've kind of just verbal diarrheaed onto you all today, and that's a pretty unpleasant image to bear in mind, but here we are. So I just want to say a massive thank you to you all for being here. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody that engages with any form of content on any socials, especially here. This is our favorite platform to focus on. This is the one that's most rewarding, the one that can have the biggest impact. We've put a huge amount of spend, time, thought into developing the channel, and it's really rewarding to see positive feedback, positive comments, the actual numbers on the up, and everything that goes with it. And I hope that I don't seem like I'm kind of a bit manic and all over the place with this. It's kind of just who I am, because I'm kind of constantly trying to move things forward, sometimes to my own detriment in the past, but the self-awareness that I've developed through the experiences I've had to date mean that this recalibration that I've been through has been really valuable for me to be confident that the next couple of months, the rest of this year, are going to be a really exciting, positive one. And I'm just a bit annoyed with myself for not forcing the recalibration sooner. Maybe it was the sun coming out making me realize that I'm now a fair weather cyclist temporarily that did it. I don't know. But I do just want to really reiterate how thankful I am to each and every one of you that are here, and those of you that engage with the channel, with the podcast, with Omnia, with everything in the ecosystem that I've told you oh so much about today. But I am going to make a conscious effort to be more day-to-day focused on everything going on around how I'm training, because there is often cynical comments on this channel, oh, must be nice training, try having a 9 to 5. And I can honestly say, when I used to work an 8 to 6 job, it was much easier for me to make my training work, because I knew I would do it at the front of the day and the back of the day, or in the middle at my lunch break. Whereas now there is this ever-evolving, ever-changing scale of priorities on a day-to-day basis, and training is a part of that. So I need to manage that within all of those considerations, and it's something that I'm doing my best at. I'm not getting it right all the time, by no means. Will I get it right for the rest of the year? By no means. Am I doing my best? Yes, I am. So thank you, each and every one of you. I really do appreciate it. And I just want to make clear that all is well. None of you should be concerned about the potential garrulousness of this video today. This was a sit down, give you an update, share with you some of the thoughts that have been bubbling away in the background to give you more context for the videos to come. Because I almost feel like I've let down some people's buy-ins to the channel, to me, to certain events or whatever, I don't know, because I've spent so much time pondering what should the big event be this year, Fergus? And this was the exact trap that I found myself in when I had just completed Project Vertical in 2020, having raised just over £100,000 for Movember. And that trap was essentially hitting a brick wall where it was no longer sustainable to continue upping the difficulty of the challenge year on year with everything else going on. And I will say here and now, I don't have any desire to just train full time and just do events and challenges and make YouTube videos about them full time. I love having the businesses on the side. I love bringing everything to life and solving the problems that get thrown at me. There's some days where the stress will be overwhelming. Yes, there's some days where it all makes little to no sense and I wonder what on earth I'm doing, but figuring these things out is all a part of the value that I see in training and the discipline and experience that training across strength and endurance disciplines gives you. Because at the end of the day, I train because it makes me better. I train because it gives me peace. I train because the difference between a full send, sniffing salts, heavy deadlift versus a 40-hour triathlon in Snowdonia gives me a full range of self-development and understanding that I can apply to my day-to-day life to make me better overall. And the amount of challenges that I face from a training and event point of view that I can now carry into my day-to-day life are enormous, and that's why I'm a huge proponent for this style of training. That's why we've created Omnia Performance, that's why I've created the Modern Mind, and that's why I'm so proud to have so many people engaged and flying the flag, because I truly believe that the self-awareness that I believe training like this has given me will make us as a collective better, and I've shared that through my lens, quite literally, today, in the hope that maybe you can reflect on your own somewhat. But that is a practical update from my end, and maybe a few things to consider from yours. So I hope it's been valuable. If it has been, drop it a like down below. If you have any questions about anything I've said, please do comment down below. But this has just been raw, honest, somewhat frustrated because there's been so many things going on. So any comments, don't be too assumptive. Don't take anything I've said as entire gospel. If you want a bit more clarity on something, please do. That is an update. Let's lift heavy, run fast, tighten up the body composition a little bit. Look forward to maybe some strongman stuff. 2023 is going to be exciting. I know 2024 is going to be exciting, and I know 2025 and beyond is going to be exciting. But the beauty is, with this channel, with all of the focus points, with all of the hybrid elements going on, every year is going to be different. And upon recalibrating and reflecting upon myself in this way, I am now more at peace with the fact that every year is going to be different. And that is the crux of why I get so much value from being a hybrid athlete in the first place. So if that's not the right moment to finish, I don't know what is.